Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some Weird Job Wednesday.
All right. It is Weird Job time. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job?
Sideshow Dan. That's who it was. Sideshow Dan.
Are you a fat slob? Do you make
He was on
lots of
JRR.
money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Florida. Talk to them about your mortgage or maybe your cash out refi.
Yeah.
Or maybe your home equity conversion mortgage.
You were reading that.
Yeah, which is basically a reverse mortgage, but they've changed.
Oh, they changed the name of it? Hold on.
Yeah,
What
no.
is it called now?
Conversion
If you don't want
therapy.
Home equity conversion mortgage. Basically, it's
I'm
like
interested in your home equity conversion therapy.
It's turn your house into something that pays you each month instead of you paying it.
Gotcha. I thought you were
I
going to
want
say
that.
turn my
Streamline.
house into a spaceship.
Got to be 62.
Oh, 62 inches.
I'm almost there.
So I know this is not a weird job because
It
Why would
is,
you say
though.
that? That's insulting to our
It,
guests.
well, it is a weird job, but I think our listeners are, because
this
we
guy's
talk
laughing.
about radio.
He's laughing already, which makes me like him.
But we saw a BDM post on our BDM page, and they're like, "Hey, my Uncle Phil is retiring from radio."
Uncle Phil.
It was Will Smith, guys. It was Will Smith.
and then I noticed I saw Uncle Phil, and then he had his headphones out like I do.
Hey
Yeah,
there.
one on, one off.
Yeah, one on
and one off. Ready for action. It's me, Trick Danger, on the dial.
And then I'm like, I need to talk to Uncle Radio Phil.
Yes. What's your on-air handle there, Phil?
It's my real name. I'm not smart enough to have two different names because I would forget and revert to my real name anyway. So I just stuck with Phil.
My real name is Phil These Nuts.
So Phil, how the
Keep failing them.
congratulations on retirement. How
Yeah.
long did you work in the radio business?
44 years.
Whoa, my God. You're a lifer, sir. Well, you know what? Thank you for your service. Not our service. What is it? Thank you for your service.
You
good service.
you literally saw the beginning and the end.
You were there. You were there for...
Marconi and I were close.
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
like this.
You, Marconi, and now the end of it.
So Phil, tell us about how you started, what different
Started from the bottom, Tom.
Well, some different cities you were in, because I'm curious, like the transition that you saw personally. Tell us all about it, Phil.
Well, we started, when I was a kid growing up listening to Twin Cities Radio, Minneapolis, St. Paul market I grew up in, and the big station there, WCCO, but also some of the rock stations, and then hearing something called the National Lampoon Radio Hour when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Really inspired me because I thought, boy, it would be fun to do that for a living. So I started off going to Brown Institute, about a 1-year trade school.
Brown Institute's what I call my butt. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Brown Institute.
I like how we're embarrassing Phil.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm too serious. All you young
Breaking
guys,
news.
all you Howard Stern disciples, you're doing a wacky morning show whack pack. Sorry, Phil.
Or as we called it, LSU, Lake Street University. And
there you go.
So we go from there to I worked part-time at a little station in western Wisconsin, where my first full-time job in northwest Iowa, a town called Esterville, where when the wind blew from the south, my house smelled like a corpse because we were near a livestock yard. And
Wow. All radio guys start
Wow.
in a market where you live and the studio are terrible.
you
They're
got it.
Yeah, like every radio guy that I know that's ever really done radio, like, see, I am an old radio guy, but I don't have the tail. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have... I am a unicorn in the idea that I've only been on one station my entire broadcasting career, which is
Wow.
crazy. You are too, Tom. You're a weirdo.
Yeah,
We're weirdos.
Wow.
Well, you started in the 90s. I
Yeah.
started in the early 2000s, so it's a different time. Like,
Yeah.
Phil started when traditional this is the way you did it. It's the
Yeah.
way newscasters do. You start a small market,
And you
work
work
your way up.
Yeah. Yeah, I started out with vinyl records. It was I was actually spinning records back in the day, and went from there back to Western Wisconsin, then up to Grand Forks, North Dakota. From there, I went down to Baraboo, Wisconsin, a little town, the home of the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Spent about a year there,
Cool.
and then we went from there. From Baraboo, we went to Minneapolis, St. Paul, worked at a couple of stations there, and from there I went to Bismarck. From Bismarck, I went down to Evansville, Indiana, and from Evansville, Indiana, back to Bismarck again, which I combined about 28 total years in Bismarck between the two stops. So 44 years, and I went to the transition from vinyl records to next gen, as they say. So,
Yeah.
Next
Wow.
Gen. I remember old Next Gen.
Yep.
So
Although we had, I had Next Gen, if I can geek out for a second, I always looked at Next Gen and realized that it was touchscreen, and you could tap, and you could tap the buttons, but my station, too cheap to put in touchscreen, so we used a mouse for everything.
That's, same with K-Fire, same with High Station.
Yeah.
We never had the touchscreen there either.
I'm so glad that we share that. I would hug you if you were here right now. Too cheap to put in the goddamn touchscreens.
Phil, so I want to talk to you about cutting tape because Daniel,
I know how to do it.
Daniel started cutting
Yeah.
tape when he was an intern in the 90s.
Yeah, on a reel-to-reel.
You bet.
I only worked with mini discs. I started around 2003,
Yeah.
and now the whole craze was mini discs.
Neither of us should tell anybody either of these, right?
No, no.
Like, I shouldn't talk about tape. You shouldn't talk about mini discs. But
well,
hey,
tape is
here
well.
we are.
I at least have a disc. You were
No,
cutting something with a
He
razor.
was spinning records, Tom.
You
but-
had a knife. You
but
had a knife.
I did a razor blade, sir. And the hipsters would like me more than you.
You had a knife that you worked with technology with.
You cut the technology. There's too much technology here. I got
Cut
to
it
cut a
out.
little bit out. So I got to cut it on an angle, and then I got to use a piece of Scotch tape to hold my technology together.
So
Yeah, it was a grease pencil and a razor blade, absolutely.
And then you'd lay it on that little piece of aluminum,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then it would be scored, and it would have the angles to cut, and you'd cut them, and then you'd take a little piece of tape and slap it on there, and away you went.
I know people are thinking we're talking about like Good Morning Vietnam days.
pretty much.
We're talking about when Limp Bizkit blew up a
Yeah.
pirate ship days.
yeah.
This ain't that long.
That's a good marker.
I like that's your marker.
Excellent
yeah.
marker.
Where Daniel was using a razor blade and cutting a ribbon of
Yeah.
audio, and that was
Yeah, I was still doing that Monica Lewinsky,
So, Phil, I want to talk to you about you saw the transition where it went from like basically so many radio stations were like mom and pop owned, and then when the conglomerates came in, like a Clear Channels and the Cox, and and started buying up every radio station, every mom and pop in town, and turning it more corporate. Tell us about that transition, because I'm sure, although maybe in like North Dakota and up like in Midwest,
I don't know what owners groups they had.
Yeah.
Do you have any Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive? Because that's kind of what that was about. Being the last person standing, it was an interesting time because when we were in Bismarck the first time, that's when they were first bought by the family operation and bought by the corporation, and things started to change then. And I guess then you just you say, hey, do this job too. So you ended up doing some multitasking.
Here in Orlando, that was known as, you're going to have to wear extra hats.
Remember
that? Remember that meeting?
Yeah, we're going to make you the manager, but
Yeah.
pay you the same.
yeah.
Like, hold on, how does that work?
Yeah, the person that there's our boss is no longer there, but she had this big meeting and everybody's there, and she's like, "You're gonna have to wear more hats, and those of you wearing more hats, we love you," and that's all you get. You get our love.
But luckily, my last stint in Bismarck was pretty much just being the morning guy, so it worked out fine for me. I pretty much concentrated on my morning show, and that was about it.
Did
so,
you have
so life was good.
Did you have a slightly attractive, shorter, and overweight news lady?
No, I had a younger, taller, dark and handsome newsman.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. I always wanted a newsman.
So So, Phil, did you, throughout your career, I want to hear about any sort of zany radio stunts.
Well, I wanna
I'm
know
sure
what-
there's got to be one
Also,
or two.
if
You sound like a more serious, like we're used to dealing with
He's like a DBO guy here in town. He's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
news
yeah.
talk.
He's
like an Officer Jim.
We're more
scenario.
used to dealing with the morning zoo type.
Yeah.
The guys with
Alamaños.
they got no sleeves and their arms are crossed. Their brick wall is
Yeah.
behind them. They're wearing sunglasses or
Yeah,
on
it's
some
a
sort
fake
of Harley.
brick. It's a fake brick wall. They make it look like there's some spray paint of their logo on it.
Their interns are rolling in mouse traps.
Yeah.
They're whipping them.
They talk like this. Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah.
They have some sort of shower built in their studio.
Oh, yeah, let's get her on. Let's get your mom up there in the shower. Oh, yeah. By the way, she's doing all of this right now to get Maroon 5 tickets. Fourth row tickets to see Maroon 5. Not first row. Fourth row tickets to see Maroon 5. We're going to get her up there in the shower and see those baloney flaps.
So-
Did I say that?
So, but you, Phil, you sound like more of a serious broadcaster that.
Oh no!
okay,
don't,
well,
not at all.
okay,
So
sorry.
what-
Don't.
So what
Don't call me
bits?
serious.
What bits
Really.
did you have on your morning show? I mean, you had
Yeah, yeah.
bits that you did, right? Give us some of your bits. Maybe we might
My-
want to steal them.
My main bit was I did a lot of impersonations and voices and created bits around that. For
Phil,
instance,
you gotta give us one.
What do you got?
May
Sean
I-
Connery?
may I-
most of the people I impersonate are dead now.
That's
but
fine.
Yeah, like John Houseman.
Who's that?
well, there's the late great Howard Cosell was one of my favorites back in the day. There was Howard Cosell.
No, wait,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta do Howard.
He's
You
got the
gotta
goods.
you gotta do the stuff that got him in trouble. You gotta do the look at that monkey run. Oh my God! Oh my God! Why did you say that? What is wrong with you?
They're like, he's an old man. He doesn't know.
Yeah, why he said just somebody hit him with the head. Hit him with the head with a cash register. Knock him out.
You blew it,
Knock him out
Cosell.
and drag him away.
Yeah, a lot of dead people and still some living people. Like the lovable Bernie Sanders was always fun because you are a racist and you are a homophobe. He's always fun
Bernie
to
Sanders.
do.
I like that.
Well,
right.
that's a good
That's
Sanders.
not a bad Sanders.
Uh,
You know what?
So,
I have
You
once
got the
again
guts,
asked
Phil.
you-
You are Colonel Sanders.
yeah, Colonel Sanders, I like that. So yeah, I did a lot of that stuff. But and then as far as I did about 50 or 60 of those. And then there were a couple of. I guess as far as stunts go, I think my favorites were April Fool's pranks we played on occasion, where we would incorporate into news stories. One of my favorites was that there was a study. This is back when gas prices in the 90s had gotten high.
Yeah.
And our news guy came up with a story that in putting helium into your tires would increase your gas mileage. So we had a promotion
Wait a
with the
minute, that's
gas
true.
station there. Well, so we had a promotion with the gas station that come on in and get your tires inflated with helium. And so during morning, we had cars lined up around the block. And in order to, so we didn't piss people off too bad, then we would give them a free car wash once they got there and realized that April Fools. So that was one of our,
I love cars lined up around the
And
block.
then your cars
It's
lined
my
up around the
favorite-
block, and
it's
then
my favorite radio thing.
And then you got to
Yeah.
do the live shot. We're giving away helium right now. Let's go live. Let's go live to the
Exactly.
Amoco. It's down there on Colonial Drive. Let's go live to our intern Froggy's down there. Froggy, can you hear?
Hey, what's up? It's Froggy. I'm down here. Yeah, we're giving away free helium, and I certainly have not been huffing it at all.
We'll be right back.
nice.
You got to do that,
Yes.
Dom. You got to do all those
I
dumb
want to
bits.
do this again.
Oh my God, you have
I want-
inspired us.
Can we get cars to line up around the
we
block?
can get cars to line up around
Hey,
the
this would be a
block.
good time to try it with
We
the
do
full
gas.
couple,
We'll do gas
$5 a gallon gas.
giveaways. We'll do the old
There you
pump it in
go.
your gas hole promotion. That was a real radio thing. The gas man, you pump it in your gas hole.
I'm the gas man.
Yeah.
The problem is, the only people listening live, they're Norm out there, White Claw Tracy.
Oh, you leave them alone. They're our
And then we
friends.
replay it at night. They show up at night. No one's here.
They're our
They're
friends.
like- yeah,
He's
because-
making fun of our friends.
Well, we've missed the sweet time of live radio. And Phil, I want to talk to you about that because you recently retired and, we've talked.
Congratulations, man! Like that really
Thank
is an
you.
accomplishment to be able to do
It is.
that and sail into the sunset after 44. I would have shot for 45. Just,
I'm one of the lucky ones who got to choose their date, I guess.
nice.
Well, no,
congrats.
And you say,
Thank you.
it's a rarity. I mean, as you know, Phil, and
it really is.
The
And
radio
he doesn't sound bitter either.
The radio, and let me ask you this, Phil, because
I'm being serious.
when
Maybe it's different in North Dakota.
when I started in radio as an intern in 2003, like I soon realized that, man, if I decide to make this my lifelong career, every single day I do a show, I know that the management could be waiting outside my door to fire me and tell me that was your last show.
Gary.
And that was the thing in radio. Like they just wait. They wouldn't tell you, and you wouldn't know that you were doing your last show until they told you it was your last show. Then they usually wouldn't let you say goodbye.
No.
They get you out of there.
I didn't get to say goodbye.
And then you disappeared, and then they never talk to you again or about you again on that station.
you're dead.
Yeah, and then
Well, actually, you're worse than dead. You never existed.
so then to me, I was like, well, that seems like a hard career to live in, knowing that each day could be your last day, and then you have to go move to a different place because you have a non-compete.
Completely start over.
So you literally have to move out of town. So I was like, man, this is a rough business to have a longevity. And so how'd you get through it, Phil?
Well, the first time I got let go, there was twice. I got fired twice. But the first time I got fired, we were in
What'd you do, Phil?
Minneapolis. I just showed up. That was all. I did my job, and so it was my daughter's our first child's first day of kindergarten that day, and my wife was an emotional wreck all morning, in tears after putting her on the bus. So I get home from work, just to inform her, just when she had finally stopped crying about that, hey, guess what? I got fired.
Man.
Oh man, you gotta sleep on that one, Phil.
And then you had you had a
trauma, man.
you have a non-compete, so then you have to move out of the city you
Take
live
her
in,
out of
right?
kindergarten.
Yeah, you got to
go
do
different
kindergarten.
school.
No, you got to do first day of kindergarten in someplace new again.
Actually, they didn't do a non-compete on that one. They were kind of eliminating the position, and they said, we really like you, but we don't have room, so we're waiving all the non-competes. So I went to another station in town, so that was fine.
Okay, that's
Ended up
cool.
getting a raise out of the deal
Nice.
and better hours.
That's
so,
usually how it works.
Well, yeah,
it worked out for the best.
Nice.
And we've had a lot of radio friends throughout the years that have been fired, and they always end up in a better place after,
always.
which is
Exactly.
weird.
Always.
So it's like when they first get fired, it's so like devastating to them and to everybody around their listeners, and then they always end up in a better place. I'm like, it's a blessing, kind of like, like this is good for you.
Even like the radio guys, like even the guys that do really bad things, and then get out of radio, typically go on to be in bigger markets, better salaries. You know, you can.
Not all.
Yeah.
Not all.
Some of there are some doors.
You know what? Yeah.
There are some windows and doors that if
Actually,
you open them, the tales inside
more-
are tragic and sad.
Yeah, more tragedy than actually success. I'm only remembering the success as our confirmation bias.
I'm remembering the tragedy.
So,
Well, I think a lot of times when people get fired, too, they use it as motivation to, I'm going to show you, and you use that as kind of a fire under your butt to prove people wrong.
yeah, no, 100%. So let's end with this, Phil, because we got to go. We're running low on time. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You're a
We're
pro.
up against
I know.
a break.
All right.
I get it.
I gotta sell these nickel pickle sales at Car Guys. I gotta get out there. I gotta sell some Lexuses.
We noticed that in the picture that your nephew posted, you were wearing some sort of jersey, and that's always been our stereotype with radio guys. They love a good jersey.
I want to make Tom and Dan jerseys for people to wear.
So was that your preferred?
How many jerseys
attire?
do you own is what he wants to know.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I wear jerseys, T-shirts, radio guy wear.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to go into radio, because I wanted a job where I didn't have to wear a tie.
Yeah,
and at the time, radio was the option, so there you go.
That's almost the number one reason to get into radio.
It really is.
Like, I've
Yep.
talked to multiple radio guys.
There's
They're
one
like,
guy
I'll
we
never
know.
wear a
Yeah,
tie.
there's one guy we know that he
I was
said,
like,
I
never?
will never put a tie around my neck. And he was dead
Well,
serious.
Yeah, so my dad, I mean, I had a father who was, in the 60s, the suit and tie every day for work and the derby hat, and it's like, nope, I don't want to have to dress like that every day. So
also, it's easier to kick the dog around in a jersey.
Exactly.
When you come home drunk,
I love sports jerseys, not so much the actual
Athletics
of sports. Phil, it's been an honor talking to you.
You're
Thank
great,
you so
man.
much.
Congrats on your retirement and your success in 44 years of doing it. Really cool, man. Very, very nice talking to you.
Is there anything you want to promote? Are you starting like a podcast?
Consulting business? You can consult. That's what old radio guys do. They're like, I'm a consultant now. What does that mean?
For now, I'm really busy unpacking boxes and screwing up, putting together those do-it-yourself furniture items. So,
do you talk to yourself? Do you do bits like to yourself? Or are you like,
I haven't yet. So far, I just enjoyed sleeping till it's light. I haven't done that in years.
Nice.
That is a benefit.
Well, keep doing it, man, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hey, you got it. Thanks so much, guys.
All right,
thanks,
man.
Phil.
Be well.
Damn it, we didn't
that
ask
guy.
his sign-off. I wanted to know his sign-off.
Oh, yeah.
Be good out there.
We we should do a segment. We just talk to old radio guys because there's something I'm telling you.
Old radio, so we interview
not that he's
like
old,
a
but I'm just saying.
collection of retired radio
he's not
guys.
young. He did radio for
No,
44
I know.
years.
It's just I want a car line. I'm telling you, Tom and Dan car line somewhere
we can
in the
make
city.
that happen.
We can do a card line.
All right,
We got to give away something for free.
Yeah, that's
We
fine.
need to do the old. Okay, the old. I think there's like a creep or
I
somebody.
think it's
out
our
there.
Jiggy,
guest.
Get our shotgun. There's a creep out front. Blow them away. I want to do the car line where you line them all up and then you're like, they're all in line to get our sticker. And if we see you around town with our sticker on your car, you could win $25.
yeah, I know.
That's what I want.
I know. We kind of do it a little bit. There's always a tip of the cap.
We fell off on the BDM sticker. We used to be.
There's a lot of them.
It all started with the. Do we need to get out of here? Okay, let's get out of here. I have a thought though.
Okay,
we'll come back to it.
All right, bye. Welcome to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha is here.
Hello.
So
I thought about that last night. I had a dream about you.
Whoa.
And not that kind of dream. Those are reserved for Tom. But this dream was about, I shouldn't say the producer thing, because your wife was like, they know she's a producer. She stands on her own. Call her Sam. Because she always yells at you for saying,
my
you're
wife.
not my, yes.
Yeah.
It's so,
My
I
wife.
But that's an old radio thing where you constantly explaining the characters to new listeners.
Yeah.
Except for there is no new listeners. It's just Norm.
all the same old
I
Norms.
know who Crystal is. And then I'm like, oh yeah.
Well,
Stupid.
that's what I did in my dream. So now I'm gonna try to just say, and Sam is here as well. Tom, Dan, Sam.
Yeah, but what if that new listener pops in?
Who the hell's Sam?
And he's like, who's Sam? I
Who's
need to
Sam?
explain.
Figure it out.
Oh my God! Just go to get the app.
Jiggy's here. How you doing, Jiggy?
Good to be here, guys. Good to be here.
So
Back
Jiggy
in Orlando.
just flew in literally this morning.
Oh my God!
Straight
Well, you
from
look
the
great.
airport.
Really?
Oh, listen, I'm well rested. I'm Tom and Dan ready.
Where'd you fly in from?
New York.
New York.
So you got an event this weekend.
Never heard of that.
It's
Small place.
It's called Taste Funny. It's at the Rosen Plaza. So tell us about how this whole thing came about, and tell us about the weekend. Are tickets still available? I know that the packages are probably.
Yeah, we have a couple packages left. So it's a full weekend of comedy, music, events. It's all based off of a show I did during the pandemic, and it was a cooking show I did at my house. I couldn't do stand-up, so I was doing a cooking comedy show at my house called Taste Funny, where I would like haphazardly cook, and the audience would try to sabotage me on Zoom. And so that grew, and it grew a little following, and we did a festival last year in New York that was a whole weekend festival of comedy shows and cooking shows and tastings, and this is our second year, and I wanted to bring it back to Orlando, which is like a second home to me. And this year we're doing it all in one place. So we were scattered amongst a lot of venues in New York last year. This year, everything is in the Rosen Plaza Hotel, so everyone's staying. The people who are coming from out of town are all staying at the hotel. All the events are at the hotel, and they range from like 90s bands to cooking shows. We have a whiskey tasting, stand-up shows.
Oh, damn.
So
yeah,
it's
Mike Charette is going to be
Mike
there.
Charette's coming to
Oh,
town.
he didn't want to come hang out with us?
Ross
Oh.
Paget is performing. So.
Ross and old Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, Kyle
He
Shanahan.
looks exactly
You
like
should
Kyle
start
Shanahan.
telling people that, like, because you
If
would
you
get
if you put a 49ers hat on him-
Falcons guy, you get some Falcons guys too that still remember shit. Like if you just said Mike Shanahan is showing up. He will be here. I'm telling you,
It's pretty crazy. He's uncannily looks like him. Even my fiance, who knows nothing about football, we were watching a football game, and he came on, and she was like, "Oh, why Mike's doing pretty well."
It's
the
crazy.
coach of an NFL team now.
And here's something that I don't even know if you know or even Charette knows. In Madden, because it's a little more cartoony, and they do they have the coaches in there too.
Yeah.
He looks even more like Mike Charette because it's like altered a little bit.
Yeah.
And it looks just like him in the video game. I swear to God, it's crazy.
He should really have a TikTok where he does
Kyle
an
Shanahan impression. Yeah.
Well, like our friend, she's been on the show before. Heather Shaw looks like a girl Jim Carrey, and she kind of leaned in a little bit.
She
I
did,
think.
yeah.
To that. And people started getting videos of her, and like she'd do side by sides, and he could get some play out of that for sure.
For sure.
So, this YouTube show that you did during COVID, when did you know that you had something? Because I'm sure it starts on a whim. You're like, I can't, especially in New York, right? It's like, everything is more than shut down. I mean, in Florida, we're still driving around. We're like, there's a bug outside. But in New York, I mean, so then when did you realize, there's something here? This is more than just passing the time, keeping my audience engaged.
I was doing the show, and it was the first time as a comedian, over all these years I've been doing stand-up, I've amassed a big email list from all the different cities that I go to. And when I was doing this show over Zoom, it was the first time in my career that I could send an email to everyone, and everyone potentially could come, and no one had anything going on. So when we did the first couple of shows, we had 800, 1,000 people registered to come watch this cooking show.
That's a lot.
It was from all over the world, literally. We had people from Europe and Mexico, and then people stuck with it, obviously, and then people became fans of the show and became its own little thing. And I never really was going that direction, but it kind of pointed me there, and I've always had an interest in food, and comedy is my bread and butter. So I married the two, and the fan base has been, they're amazing. They really get into the antics of the show, and it's kind of spread into this festival style weekend here in Orlando, which I think is really kind of it's the end of the road of this type of event. It kind of all comes together here where we do it live,
And then all your P1s, for if you want to.
People don't understand what that means. When you say that, all your P1s, people are like, can he say that?
Oh, we talked to Phil, so now I'm straight up into old
God.
radio now.
Before you got here, we talked to an old radio guy, and it kind of got us inspired to take it back to our roots, which is bottom of the barrel, low hanging fruit, 90s radio shock jock comedy.
Oh, we're gonna get some BDM to bang in a church. We're gonna do all this thing. You can do it now.
Oh my God, I can hear him banging. We'll be right back.
Slaughter a pig at the parking lot.
Yeah, we'll do all the classics.
Oh, Jonathan Morris will come out and kill a pig at the parking lot.
He's doing one right now.
They're screaming in the back.
Tom crashes a party at the Air T&D, and it's all live on the internet.
Wait a minute. Let's slaughter the pig at our Airbnb.
Oh, we're doing Airbnb sleepover with female BDMs.
Let's do Airbnb, hidden camera, Tampa, Voyeur dorm.
Oh, yes.
Voyeur dorm. Remember, that was a better time. Remember when Voyeur dorms were all you had to do is wake up, go oh, God, I got to go to work. You drive to work, sit down, load up Voyeur dorm. That was my day. My day was Voyeur dorm.
We missed a good opportunity because the Larabells were just in there. That would have been a good one.
In the Voyeur dorm?
No, in the Airbnb.
They had babies there, though, so I don't think
when the babies are there,
So Jiggy, the event, I know Friday night, that's when the 90s band is playing, right?
We're doing a full-blown 90s night Friday night, and that's really, that increases our capacity. So that's a standalone ticket for the festival. We have this unbelievable 90s band. They're called Saved by the 90s.
I know of these guys.
They're unbelievable. They had a residency. I think it started in New York City because they had a residency there. They've
toured, right? Because they
definitely tour.
They've come through Orlando before, and I couldn't make it because Andrea asked me to go. And they played a huge venue. I can't remember what.
They've toured through House of Blues a few times.
Yeah.
Do they play all just 90s covers?
90s covers, but they really, really get into it.
They got the costumes, and it sounds like as good or better, and it's all live.
Yeah,
And
Are they
great.
all Saved by the Bell characters?
No, I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
like I think that's just like their punny way.
yeah,
of,
they're just
the branding.
taking-
The branding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they use the triangles and the teal and the pink and the
I thought it
yellow.
was like the bass player AC Slater.
I mean, you
But
will
he
get some costuming,
sprays
that-
himself,
but there's a lot
darker.
you could do there, right? Like the bass player could like dress as a Baywatch guy, and the lead
Yeah, yeah,
singer
yeah.
he's like a. You know, I don't
Anything
know.
90s, yeah.
I'm blanking on 90. Punky Brewster. So I don't know.
Punky Bruce, that's 80s.
Is that 80s?
I don't know.
Well, I'm 76. Okay, so you know,
You're
I'm gonna.
You're 89.
yeah.
Punky Brewster.
At some point, all of it gets mushed into something.
It's a black and white TV.
Andy Griffith.
So that's the first night and Friday night, and then I know there's a bunch of things. Like also, I feel like you could do this in Orlando, and because Orlando's a destination anyway, so people will use it as an excuse. Like
We
you know,
have the
in
right
between, you
venues,
can go
I
to
think.
parks and stuff, or is there enough events all day where there's no time?
People are coming in from all over. Like we have a couple people coming from Germany and the UK, and they're making like a full week out of it. They're having way more fun than I am.
Yeah,
they're
right,
coming in
right,
like
yeah.
I've
Well,
already
you
seen
could
people
have-
coming in for the weekend. Like we have a group on Facebook, and like people are posting. They're at all the parks. They've been here for like 3 weeks. It seems like I'm picking up signs and posters, and like I'm putting together A-frame signs.
Yeah.
But everyone's having a blast. A lot of people are already here. That Friday night is going to be the 90s band. Then we're doing 90s karaoke. We have a special guest coming in that night. I can't say who it is, but it's someone from Impractical Jokers is going to be
Oh my
at
God.
the show
All right.
on Friday night. So I can't say who it is, but you have
Are
25%
they
chance.
on the website? Because I saw them, and I was like, oh, he got it. Anyway,
He did it.
And then Sunday is another full day of just shows and different things, right?
Saturday we're doing the Taste Funny show that I did virtually. We're doing
Yeah.
it live, so I'm going to be cooking live, and the audience is going to be trying to sabotage me with challenges. And then Sunday I do my stand-up show. We have events throughout the day that are interactive, and everything's all in one place. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think getting everyone together. A lot of these folks have never met in person, which is an interesting dynamic. So like a lot of these people, as you know, doing stuff on Twitch and on the internet, like there's a whole thing that's happening behind the scenes, which is really cool. And then to get all those people together, you guys have seen like on your
they all
cruises
start
and-
swinging. You should see.
Oh, man, it gets crazy.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but when you get a group of any sort
Yeah.
of listeners
Doesn't
of
matter.
anything, they all
Yeah.
just
It
start
could be anything, like a
banging
charity
each other.
event. Like we do
and they're filming it.
We do a foot golf charity event, we have for years. At the end of that, everybody's sloppy and like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
you look a little sweaty. Come back to my pool, like.
Oh,
everybody. At the end of all of our events, they all end up in one room just banging each other.
Every cruise that we've done,
Yeah.
like I always get pictures of like a group of our listeners. And they all like,
And they're like,
sort
you
of
should
know
have
each other.
stayed.
But then there's
Yeah.
teas out.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, this guy's
It's
making
always-
out with this
yeah.
guy's wife, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you're making out with his wife. Like you just met.
There's got to be Tom and Dan babies at this point. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
there's got to be
Snoots
kids
baby.
who like.
That was early.
But a lot of them are,
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. That's the word we use, unfortunate.
So-
we look at them, we're like, oh.
So Jiggy, I want to ask you: are you married yet? Are you?
Whoa.
What, are you trying to
engaged?
swing? What's
What, you
happening?
know, this
No,
guy's
no.
business?
Yeah,
You
I'm
want to do
just
some
asking,
jiggling?
Well,
Is that what-
I'm getting married this year. So
Oh,
I'm,
congratulations!
So I'm getting
Who's
married.
the lucky
next-
dude? We'll be right back. Sorry, I've been
God
radio.
damn it.
I'm there too.
I like
I'm there
it.
too.
It's better.
I know. Tom just high-fived me under the table because he didn't want anybody to see.
I don't know what a P1 is, but I feel like I just got P1.
Oh,
Okay,
you got it.
P1s are your most dedicated and loyal listeners. So
Oh,
your
got it.
regulars at a stand-up show that would follow you, like if you do a show in Orlando and then you go to West Palm and do one, the person that does
P1s.
both, that's your P1.
Got it.
So you're getting married, and so because I was gonna mention like I at one time, this is maybe 10 years ago.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
No.
Whatever
I
he goes-
talked about the story when
Yeah.
we were in Vegas.
When he goes so far back I can't vet it, I get a
Yeah.
little worried,
I just saw Jiggy ask like a Vegas.
No, we were at a steak
hostess.
place. We were
Yeah.
at steak.
And I
Or
never-
no, what was
Gordon
the
Ramsay's
Ramsay.
burger
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
at Gordon Ramsay's hamburger joint.
Yeah, in Vegas on
Yeah.
the Strip, and then Jiggy, like I'd never seen that much confidence.
Yeah, Jiggy's
it blew my mind.
And
I'm like, you
Jiggy's
asked
No, but he was very respectful.
Wait, what
He's
did he
like,
ask?
Well,
He
he
hasn't
was like,
gotten to it yet.
Just for a number.
So he
He's
was
like,
like,
hey.
he was like, hey, this hostess that's seating us. He's like, she's very attractive. He's like, I think I'm gonna ask her out. I'm gonna ask for a number. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna do what? I'm sorry, you're gonna do what? I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like,
Just go
snipe
sit down.
Yeah, just snipe some photos of her ass. Like, I know, and then excuse yourself to the bathroom.
And then Jiggy confidently asked. I was like, oh my God, I've never seen that much
Like,
confidence.
Hi, can
in
I have your
person.
number? And then,
I've never even think
And
of
what
that.
did she say? I figure you got turned down, right?
No, we're getting married next month.
It all worked out.
That's crazy.
I wish it worked out that. But you know what? I met my fiance in a not it's similar type of way. Like I actually met her in Italy at an Irish karaoke bar. She was a New Yorker as well, and I was going up to sing "I Want It That Way." I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, watch this," and then I went up there,
Pulled his
crushed
D
it,
out.
crushed it.
This guy does
and
love the
then
90s.
I got her number.
I know, yeah. He's also confident and.
Well, you gotta be to be a stand-up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A little bit?
Little
Well,
bit.
except for
A little
EJ.
bit.
I'm more of the stand creepily in the background wearing an Impractical
Oh
Joker
my
shirt, hoping that the drunkest girl comes and asks me like, I like that show, and then I'm like, I know them, I'm their friends, and that's all I got.
I'm just envisioning this is like the saddest version of your 20s I've ever heard. It's like,
Well, I've been the same girl since high school.
And I'm pretty sure
and,
she asked you out, right?
Yeah,
You
oh,
didn't
yeah,
ask
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
out.
Say that.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm stuck forever now.
He's like, help.
Tom has never asked for any girl's number,
Yeah.
asked any girl out
He's
ever
only
in his
been
life.
one-
He's
only
40.
been- he's never been on a date. He's only been with one
Sad.
woman. He's married to
It's
that
a weird.
woman.
It's
and
a
they have
weirdo
2
now.
kids.
It's
It is weird. Now
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
talk about it, it's like some sort of you're Amish or something. I don't know. What are you?
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
you, a Mennonite? What's wrong with you?
it's not even endearing
Yeah.
anymore. It's like you're
Sad.
a weird
Yeah,
sad.
my God.
Yeah, you never lived your full
All
life.
you wear is black polyester. You have a neck beard. You're raising barns on the weekend
yeah.
or something.
it sounded like a Netflix documentary, what you just described.
Yeah, you going for Rumspringa?
So when you is your fiance here in Orlando with you, or are you riding solo for this event?
I'm riding solo for this event just because it's so much. You guys know you've done these festivals and things, and you know it's so much.
You can
time.
never spend time with her
No,
because
it's
all you're
impossible.
doing.
She would not have fun.
And
No.
there's an element of when you do this, you want to make sure everybody's having a good time. So you want to hang out with people, and meet them.
Well, you need to be present for them. And
It is a
sometimes it's like my wife is, and your wife too. They're very understanding. Samantha's hubby, very understanding of what we have to do, and the fact that when you're there, you're kind of offering your time not to your spouse, but to these other people. And sometimes that's weird for people. Sometimes that can be
100%.
weird.
And like I think when there's events and things that I can spend time with her, like she likes to come, but I like to, she has a regular job, quote unquote. So like when she takes her time off, like I like to be able to have
actual
spend time with
trip.
her.
Yeah, not
it's
this
tough.
is work.
Yeah,
Right.
And if I'm gonna be. I know that I'm gonna have to give 110% for 12, 14, 15 hours a day for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that maybe we'll go to Aruba.
Exactly.
Yeah,
something like that.
like a hammock of some
yeah, or
sort,
just
a
like
beach.
take a nap for a week.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's hard to look at it on the other side, because if you see these events, you're like, oh, that's so much fun. It's just you're
That's
hanging
not work.
there, and then it's
That's
nearly
the number one
impossible.
we get. Like, this isn't work. What
Yeah,
you
the
do
cruises
isn't work.
or something is nearly impossible to explain. Like, it's not, you're not on vacation. Like, on vacation means you could do what you want. Like, you are trying to make other people have fun and because they are paying to be on this trip and hang out with you.
So you go to
and
things
experience-
you normally wouldn't go to. Like you go to everything. You check on everything. You're available to everybody.
You spend
it's hard.
time, you spend time talking to people and hanging out and stuff, which is fun, but it's also a work. Like it's a good amount of work being on at all times. You can't just sit there at the bar and someone comes up to you and be like, "Get up!" Like you can't just see I'm busy. I'm drinking. Like scrolling on your phone. You're like,
You're describing my last year's event.
It would be funny though to turn around to somebody and be
People
like,
do that.
Yeah, where they're like, "I'll see you later in the bistro when we're having the scavenger hunt. Not now." Like you yell at somebody and getting their ass about it.
Some NFL player is being sued. I think it's a Pittsburgh wide receiver for not showing up at like his wide receiver kids camp.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's so
yeah,
awkward
yeah,
to me because I can't imagine disappointing so many people. Like they all showed
Kids.
up.
Yeah.
Like it's probably maybe a misunderstanding, or the guy's just a D-head. He's like, who knows what.
Even as a little kid, I remember that Dennis Scott of the Orlando Magic had it was like 3 Ds. Dennis Scott's like basketball camp, summer basketball camp. And as a kid, I was so jaded. I was like, he'll never be there. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking like he wouldn't show up for that.
Are you like that, Jiggy, where you don't want to disappoint the people to support you? Like
1,000,000%. I think that I go way beyond what I maybe need to do, because I want to do as much as physically possible to make sure that everyone has a great time, because I really appreciate people flying in or giving a weekend or trusting me with their weekend. I almost picture myself as like a cruise director for this thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm guiding this ship, and I want it to be great for everyone. So that starts at the beginning of like picking the venue and picking the artists who are going to come and do the shows, and creating a weekend that makes sense and flows right. So yeah, I mean, I really think if you don't do that, sometimes you can lose. You let people have their own. Someone has to be at the front of the ship.
Because they're looking for it.
Yeah.
Because they are looking for you.
What you want to say is they're all idiots and they need somebody to guide them because they're so stupid.
But I feel the same way, because they show up and they're like, what are you going to do for me now? Because they expect that. Like, people just show up.
Make
and
me
like,
a soft serve ice cream cone, Jiggy.
They need Jiggy to tell them, like,
From
hey,
scratch.
we're doing this. It's true.
Give me a hot dog. Go to the hot dog line, Jiggy.
But here, what's funny about that is because Jiggy is a person that cares, right? What makes me really
Write that
laugh.
down, Sam. Write down Jiggy is a person
Well,
that cares.
is the exact opposite when you have like a Fire Fest situation, or
yeah.
like where you do like you watch these things, you're like, oh my god, how did no one get freaked out that this was about to happen?
Right.
Because the writing was on the wall. Like Jiggy, you would know, like if you didn't set up anything with the Rosen and
Oh
you
my
just
God, I forgot to boil the hot dog. Oh God, cold hot dogs. It'll be fine.
and then the band is like, hey, I didn't get my deposit, so we're not showing up. And
Our keyboard player's got diarrhea. Oh God.
And then it's like it would be like you still showing up, and then people just they're flying in. They get to the Rosen, they're like, "We don't have your name." And it's like,
There's no signs anywhere.
no. And then you're like, "No, we'll go down the street at this Motel 6. We can still. I'll drive you.
It'll be
individually."
fine. We'll do it in a parking lot. I'll get some tents. I'll get some shade. I promise.
How does that happen?
It's me and Mike Charette playing Scrabble for 72 hours
Yeah.
with various attendees.
You're hanging out. You get everybody at the Applebee's, and you're like, "I'll just do some light stand up right now for you."
You're telling the
Light
DJ.
stand-up,
You're
yeah.
telling the DJ at Club Applebee's if you could like use his like. Do you have a mic? We need a mic.
I'll talk over the overhead speakers.
I'll just use I'll use that thing that they use to whatever do restaurants even have those anymore?
I know what you're talking about the fast food, the little microphone.
Yeah, they used to have a
Order
microphone.
66.
It would be the in-house PA. I've talked at a lot of those.
I
at
have
Wing House.
too, but I don't think most restaurants or bars or sports bars have those anymore.
No.
It used to be like a thing.
Yeah. There's no need for announcements. So.
Like every 90s to mid 2000s Beef O'Brady's had an in-house PA system.
Yeah.
With the speakers in the drop down.
Yeah, because there was always some sort of announcement that had to be made, and then they realized at some point they're like, no need for announcements. We don't need to tell these people anything. So, Jiggy, how can people still be involved, and give us all the details?
Yeah, our 90s night, you can get tickets to the 90s night. It's 90sorlando.eventbrite.com. If there's a couple of festival passes we have left, and those are right through my Instagram. The link is right there. Jiggy Comedy, like getting jiggy with it, Jiggy Comedy on Instagram, or you can go to jiggycomedy.com, and that has a link for all the tickets. And you can also see the full event schedule at jiggycomedy.com. It's all
That's awesome.
if you want to see all the events that are happening and read into some of the description of some of the shows, and it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. You're going to see me out there. I might have to reprise my I Want It That Way karaoke on Friday night.
Yeah, because you're doing some 90s karaoke Friday
We'll do
night
90s
too.
karaoke.
Yeah.
We're going to go deep into the night. It's going to be, I got sick 90s pants. That's the other thing, too, for 90s night.
You gotta have 90s pants.
It's very highly encouraged to dress 90s.
Yeah.
So I got some fun.
Tom
I got some
would
fun
not do
pants.
that. Tom, I mean,
You wouldn't do it? You wouldn't?
He's the guy that he hates doing it.
He hates fun.
He hates fun.
I'm almost the exact like Jiggy will he'll go to karaoke
You're the
night.
anti-Jiggy.
He'll look at the most beautiful girl in the room and then be like, "Hey, watch me do."
I'm gonna dedicate this song to her.
Yeah. And
I've
then
done that before. I've done that for Andrea and many other girls that I slept with.
I fantasize about doing that. Like,
We're getting into Tom's kinks.
Yeah.
No, I fantasize about like
watch this,
being able to do some sort of dance move, and then everybody going.
Tell me why.
Like
a Soul Train.
Sir,
everybody's doing and you're like, hey, and you're doing the Russian. Hey.
They're like, look at this guy, he's got the moves, and then I go and sing, and then I'm
You probably didn't know I had the moves, did you?
Yeah.
Watch this. Then you get up there and sing,
and then I do, and do a little bit.
You do a little Kenny Rogers. Lady, I'm your knight.
You can't dance, though, can you?
No, I can't. I can't dance.
He can't dance. Phil Collins. Or was that Genesis? I think that was Genesis.
I dance like a skeleton. I do this weird
Very
thing.
rigid.
And then it gets worse. And then
You can't find the beat.
How did you impress your wife?
Not impressed. I got her in high school.
No, she says all the time you're so hot and
that was
beefcake and all this kind of stuff.
She sat in the back of my S15 pickup truck in the front of a house party we're at in Miami, and we were drinking quarts.
This is. Tell me about the time you sat in the back of the S15
Hold
drinking quarts.
on. I don't know that I've ever heard this story.
Well, that was the first. I mean, we didn't kiss. We kissed at my buddy Enrique's house
Who made the first move?
down by the. Oh, she did. Yeah.
Wow,
Whoa,
she jumped
did?
your bones.
Yeah,
aggressive.
we sat on like a sidewalk. Yeah. It was so
Oh
awkward.
my
It was so
God.
awkward.
Were you guys knocking? Were you knocking her teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sloppy.
I love that. I like it when my wife goes and I'm like, get off my nose. What are you doing?
I just sat there frozen on a sidewalk and looking at the lake.
Were you even moving your tongue at all?
No, I don't want to kiss.
I'll believe it when I try it.
Yeah.
Kiss me right now, mother.
Prove it. Prove it.
I can do it.
Tongue me right now, bro.
I know how to do it. I'm not
Tongue me,
that
bro.
awkward where it's like a weird thing is happening.
I knew you wouldn't tongue me. You're gay.
I'm doing the smooth makeout thing, but
Smooth makeout thing. That's not a thing.
There is no such thing as Jiggy. You ever heard of the smooth makeout
thing?
Jiggy knows.
Look it up.
Is that a awkward?
Jiggy is nothing like you. Jiggy's fun. He's attractive. He's been with more than one woman. I'm assuming he can put on an event.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
He can perform.
He knows the impractical jokers. He's got powerful friends.
Yeah. Like if someone just gave you a mic, you can get up there and start entertaining a crowd. Like I am super awkward. When I start telling things I shouldn't say, like long, awkward.
I'm having a flare up right now. Whoa.
Anyway, the BDMs know, and they're like, look at him, he's so weird. Anyway, sorry, Jiggy. Go to the '90s party on Friday, and then
report back.
Yeah. BDMs, if you send us a picture, we'll
send you something free.
Yeah, we'll send you a gift.
You support our friends, we support you.
Jiggy, thanks so much for coming by. I know,
thank you guys.
You got a lot. What's your next thing to do? You're driving over to the Rosen Plaza? And
Going to get set up. Going to get set up now for Friday. Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
I got posters in the back. I got everything. It's gonna be great. I'm super excited.
Hey, can we have a poster for the bathroom? I'm serious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and sign it so I hang it up in there. Yeah, I love like that kind of stuff. Just adds to the decor. Yeah.
What I love is the surge of stress and anxiety when you first show up to like a bigger venue, and of course,
I was gonna make fun and be like, well, I'm glad you're setting up and not me, but I'm like,
they finally get you to the person you're supposed to talk to, and then they're like, what is this now? Like they actually and then they look down at them, and you're like, oh my god, and then they're like, oh yeah.
They got the national convention of I don't know, Confederate riflemen are in there. You're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, but then they're always like, oh, it's right here.
I told the other event producers, I'm like, we have to quadruple check because I couldn't sleep because I was waking up in the middle of the night, like showing up to the Rosen
anxiety
tomorrow, and then the Rosen being like, you meant this August?
Yes,
you know, and then like. So
we
everything
have you for 2023.
yeah. Whoa, this year? No, but we feel great. It's gonna be so much fun, and definitely come out to the '90s night. I'm like super jazzed just to watch this band. They're amazing. They're so much fun, and everyone's gonna be dressed in costume. We're gonna have glow packs available too.
All right.
So if you glow sunglasses.
What kind of pants did you have? You had '90s.
Oh, they're super sick. They
parachute pants? I want
they're like early
pants.
'90s. They're like early '90s, like that like neon checkered type
that's
situation.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want parachute pants, but I want to put one jelly bean in every zipper pocket. Every single pocket. One jelly bean.
Like for a snack?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool. And people are like, you'll never use those pockets. I got jelly beans in every pocket. One. Because some of those pockets are very small.
Yeah.
Some of those zippers are just for,
show.
Show. It's a show zipper.
Jiggy, thanks so much. Good luck with everything this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we'll come back, take a quick break with more Corporate
You
Time.
sound like you don't know.
He's freaking out. He's thinking about his smooth
We'll
makeup.
come back. If we have the power, we'll come back. If we don't have the power, this is our last broadcast.
How many times have I ended it?
Why are you so awkward?
I don't know. So it's a mental illness.
You're just thinking about kissing me, aren't you?
Disabled. All right. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Let's do some voicemail.
All right. I'm going to do my best to try and not replay ones we've already played. It's hard, though. Like organizing these things. There's so many of them, and a lot of them we don't even get to. But let's try. We did dinner shows with Summer. We talked about that. Sam, I would like for you to pick out a dinner show. Unlike years past, I would like to offer up, and maybe we can bat this around for a second, but I would like to offer up for our holiday company gathering.
We haven't done that in years.
I know, but I'm bringing it back. We're all
I think
going.
we only skipped one.
We're going to the holidays.
Now you got one less employee.
We can go.
pay for it.
It's a lot easier now that we're saving a $49.50.
Right.
Let's go to
Yep.
Christmas medieval times.
I'm down.
Christmas medieval times. It's awesome. You get to see like dirty,
I heard the nights are hot.
You get to see like dirty medieval Santa Claus.
Does anybody want to do this?
Yeah, everybody that works in TV media other than you wants to go to Dan's. I guess it's Sam and Dan's medieval Christmas party at medieval times.
Well, how much is it? Like
I think it's like $49.50 a ticket or something, right?
But
we'll get
Look, you're saving money this year.
But because we're booking our holiday party with them, we will get a discount because they always do. They're like, have your holiday party with us. Let us do the cooking. Let the knights do the entertaining.
But then we have to pay extra for the premium drink package, right?
No. That's some Tony
I don't think there's a premium. I think it's just standard.
Yeah, it's
drink
just standard,
package.
and it's a warm beer. The winch brings it to your table. They keep pouring it until you are. You are S-housed. You can't walk leaving that place. You're so drunk you can't even pick up your chicken with your hand and eat it.
But again, Sam, would you rather do that or just me give you $55 cash?
Truly, I'd rather do that just to make you awkward.
Now it's a retribution.
Because you being awkward is $56 worth of fun.
It's $65.95.
Oh, God.
Well, inflation.
Yeah, it went up. My God, we are in a recession. God damn it, Joe! You lied.
It would also make for great show content, so... Come on, let's do it.
You laughing at that almost blew Mountain Dew out of my nose.
So 65, and then what do you get?
You get, a meal and a show.
Okay,
and
you know who's gonna
alcohol.
love it? Tony Palmiotti's gonna love it.
Oh, hell yeah, he's gonna dress up.
Can you just get water with that? Or
we should dress up like medieval times.
Okay, we all have to dress up.
No, come on.
You have to dress up like a knight. Your boys will
no
love
one does
it,
that.
dude.
No one does that.
Yeah, because they're
bring
not
the children.
They're not locals.
That
Yeah,
changes
we're bringing the kids, right?
No,
or
and
no?
I want the
okay.
$55.
All right, we won't bring the kids. We won't bring the kids, so we can get.
My kids just sit there and go quietly.
They would wear a crown and wave for the Black Knight, and that kind of Maisie be all in, and she'd be wanting to fight them.
Well, but then my kids aren't going to eat the damn turkey leg they serve as a waste.
It's a chicken. I think it's a chicken
But
leg. You can get a vegetarian option,
No.
but I think it's just a plate of dirt.
It's a 4-course feast.
Yes, it is a feast.
Queen Maria Isabella welcomes you to dine with her in her royal court.
Yeah, I believe
It sounds amazing.
I think her daughter is getting married. You have to celebrate or she gets kidnapped.
They have a vegan meal option.
Yeah.
Come on.
What's that?
It's
It
a
includes
vegan-
a generous serving of hummus with carrot and celery sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gross.
You get all
A main course featuring 3-bean stew
this.
with fire-roasted tomato and brown rice, and a choice of either fresh fruit or Italian ice for dessert.
You get the bean stew.
Yeah, my wife, she don't want
My
that.
wife farting it up all day.
want
What
the
happened? She
bean
ate the
stew.
bean stew in medieval times and she's got the farts.
And then we get roasted chicken,
Yes.
sweet buttered corn, and herb-basted potato.
Yeah, and then you get some rolls, and then the winches bring the warm beer by, and they're just putting it in your paper cup, and you are
Do they have
just...
White Claw?
No, you get warm Bud Light or warm Miller
Yeah,
Lite,
yeah,
your
yeah.
choice.
They don't have any seltzers? Come
No,
on.
Knights don't drink seltzers.
Well, it's 2022. They have to cater to the audience.
No. Beer. You drink beer,
So
and
65,
I think they have
65.
wine, grog.
Are you trying to do the math in your
Yeah,
head?
what is so I mean, this is $1,000 night.
We could,
No.
okay, we could do something that's never been done before. We could talk to medieval times. I'm putting this out into the universe. Tom and Dan, excuse me, Tom.
Oh, they
and
have a
Sam's.
company celebration deal. Let's
But
do that
I'm
one.
saying this:
Well, now-
Tom and Sam, or Dan and Sam's.
Well, I'm starting to do
Christmas medieval times gathering, and let's invite the listeners and let's just take over the whole place.
Hell yeah.
You don't think we could get
Ooh,
what's
BDM
capacity
event.
at that joint? We could pack that place.
Well,
Guaranteed we could pack
yeah,
that
we
place.
could, but
and have our Christmas party with all of our listeners.
Well, I gotta call them and
Yes.
see
They
what they're
call
gonna
us.
pay us. We're not doing that
Hold
for
on, I'll
free.
put it out into the universe, and maybe that person's listening. The person you know.
Yeah, we can pack it, but they may not need it. They're, it's funny too because I've dealt with big corporations.
1,300 seats.
Oh, that's a lot.
Oh yeah,
That's a lot. My God.
we
could do half of that.
Not even that.
No, not for
300.
Christmas. Yeah, people are
Here's
like,
it, separate the other 1,000.
Hey, the chat's all about a BDM night at medieval times. So
I
I
would
think we
love
got to
to-
make this happen.
Oh, they say they are,
Yeah,
but
but they
then
don't- yeah,
when
they
it's
won't.
time to pay that $65.99 times 2, and then
Yeah.
you cater and you start doing the math with the drinks,
And
you're
they're
like,
like, uh-oh.
$280 night, and then you're dragging your wife, and she's like, "What is this pod nest you listen to?" She don't want to go.
yeah.
Tracy's already sent an email.
Yeah, I figure she would.
Well, Tracy wants to go.
I know.
but
She
she
likes fun.
Yeah.
Let's go and do these voicemails. I'm just putting that out in the universe. Maybe it's just us. Maybe it's just the staff here at T&D Media. Here is your first voicemail. Cheer. Right cheer.
Hello, Tom and Dan and Sam. I know in the life and times of Tom Van that he claims the first time he got real drunk was at his mom's wedding to his stepfather. And as the story goes, he was offered drinks by the bass player from Casey and the Sunshine Band,
Confirmed.
which we've all found
This
out
is all true,
has had
confirmed.
some issues in the past. And so Tom said this guy offered him a drink. Tom said it was the first time he got drunk. And we know apparently nothing happened, but I wonder what Tom Van's life would have been like if that old pervert didn't give him booze. Maybe he would be like in charge of a power sports store. Bye-bye.
So this guy's saying that,
It's
that
an old
this,
pervert
this
giving me
old
booze.
pervert led you down the road to hell.
Oh, man.
It was a butterfly wings. That's
That's part of the trial.
Does your wife ever yell that when you get too drunk? She's like, if that old pervert had never given you booze, we'd be a good family. That old pervert made you an alcoholic. Do you ever get that yelled at you?
No. It's, I mean,
Do you ever yell at your wife and go, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to live with the old perverts.
is that guy still in jail?
I think he
I thought
died.
he died.
I think he
Oh, he
died.
died? Oh, yeah,
what
yeah.
are you? Oh, you sad now? Are you like? I hope he got my letters.
I love them.
Did he get my? Did he get my letters? First Malachi, now the pervert.
If he would have molested me, I think I would have made jokes about him. He's making jokes about it right
Trying
now.
to get some
I
money
mean,
out
there
of
are
him, right?
comedians that make fun. Bobby Lee makes fun of being molested by a person with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he said later on his show that he made that part up to make it a better joke.
No, really?
Yeah.
Hold on, but he still does. I see it on TikTok.
Yeah. The story
Well,
changes.
he was
but
molested, but
yeah,
just, yeah.
yeah, he made it a better story.
All right. Well,
That's how it works. That's all of our stories are like we.
Well, that's the only funny part. So, yeah.
Well, you got to throw it in there, otherwise
Yeah.
people won't laugh.
Yeah, you got to put that in there.
Well, that's a lot.
I got to make fun of my trauma so people laugh at
I
it.
understand what you're saying. You're saying so you added that and now you're laughing at that, and then
Yeah,
I get it.
But it's not like you tweaked it a little. Like you sometimes listen. I've tweaked maybe
we tweak our stories, sure.
certain small details, maybe
Yes.
timing and stuff. Like it didn't happen that fast. It was a little
You
slower
just
than
take
that.
anything and make the person involved that's opposite you, special needs, funny.
But I've never
Every
changed.
time.
But if you change the whole
Yeah.
thing, then it's like, well, that's not even close to the original
Yeah.
story. It's like you were molested by some neighbor. There's a horrible child molester, and they just you made him Down syndrome. Then people laugh.
We know a guy, and he
you
won't tell
can't change it that much.
he won't tell the story, but you and I know a man that has been on the show before that got into a fight with a person in a wheelchair and beat him up. He won't tell that story though.
We've said it on the
Have we?
old radio. Yeah,
I don't. I think he always got serious about it.
Nah, he
He's like,
may have
I
got
will be
serious.
very mad if you tell that story. It was EJ. Let's do another one. Let's do.
How bad did you see it?
I didn't see it. I was around at this time, but I didn't see it.
Did he
I
just
was
punch him
later.
one time, or did he like?
Never saw it. I wasn't there.
Like, how bad did he beat him up?
I already knocked him out.
And then he just slumped over in a chair.
I wasn't there. I don't want to put. Let's try this one.
I know who it is. I want to say something.
It's EJ. Hottest topic in the land right now. I mean, we have moved on. It used to be sounding rods and dousing. We went through that. Then it was sit and stand was the original one. Now the new one is dentistry. Oh, man. You guys and your dental horror stories.
Hey, what's up, guys? I know we're doing, I heard on the Friday Free Show about dental horror stories. So when I went to go get my wisdom teeth taken out, the only place in town that would take my insurance at the time was a place, I'm pretty sure it was called Dental Land. It was in the Melbourne Mall, if I remember correctly.
Man.
So
Dental
I go
Land.
in there and I'm sitting in the waiting room for my first consultation. So I haven't even seen the dentist yet. And all of a sudden I hear this screaming in the background. This lady is screaming bloody murder, right? I mean, she's screaming and screaming and screaming, and then she comes bursting through the door. Do not get your teeth pulled in here. They don't numb anything. Don't get your teeth pulled in here. And then she runs out the door, and I'm sitting here like, holy fucking shit. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm about to get my teeth pulled in here. So then the dentist comes out.
Where did my patient go?
There's people in the waiting room. He's
This
like,
is scare tactics.
Where did my patient go? I was going to pull a teeth.
Was it Jamie Kennedy? It sounds fake.
Yeah, if you have like Steve Martin come running out, he starts singing,
Yeah,
you know.
This sounds like a hidden camera show.
No. If there's only one place that takes your insurance, you know it's bad.
Yeah, let's continue.
Dental Land?
don't listen to a word that lady says. She's just trying to get more pain medication. And then you turn around and walk back into behind the door, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, fuck this. I am out. Anyway, love you guys.
Now wait a
Bye.
minute. I learned something this week.
I never cleaned my teeth again.
I learned because he brings up an interesting point. I wonder if people obviously do lean into the pain to try and get more
Pain pills.
pain pills, right?
Oh, that was a Florida dentistry thing for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like the end of the 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
every Florida person was going to their dentist for pain pills.
yes, that was like the thing, and
And
so
they just write prescriptions out crazy. Like, my tooth hurts. Here's a 30
I like it.
Oxycontin.
You almost slipped into slang. You're, hey, dog, give me that scription. Like you almost slipped into slang.
But yeah. There's the pain pill.
Yeah, the pain pills were they would be flowing, but I didn't know that people I guess I didn't think that people could tell their doctor that and their doctor would even believe it. You know, I always thought you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. You know, it's like the doctor wrote you like.
Well, in the early 2000s, no one knew what pain pills were, so they were just giving it out there like, you're in pain? Take these pills, it'll solve it. And they didn't know how horribly addicting the opiates were at the time. And then people they loved them so much, you could make so much money, that blurred the lines of like, well, the pharmaceutical company said this was safe.
Yeah.
I'm legally allowed to write the prescriptions, and they keep coming back. They love them.
Yeah.
And then you're making,
I got a bunch of regulars. I must be a good dentist.
a $90 visit every time to get them to write a prescription of pain pills. Like, people fell into that trap, and then everybody died.
But I do.
It's
Okay,
true.
for those of us though that didn't necessarily get addicted, but just liked
dabbled,
having
yeah.
a little more pain pills than normal, we were. You know what? We're
You guys
the
got
real.
screwed.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the people that are addicted to pain pills that or maybe even perish, that's the tragedy here, but it's not. It's those of us that just like to do responsible plus.
Yeah.
The responsible plus people, we got effed because I can't even get any pain pills now when I'm really in pain.
Every 3 times you went to the doctor, they give you pain pills. It's like 3 times a year you get 30 count pain
Yeah, it
pills.
was
And then
awesome.
you'd have a great month.
Yeah,
and
you
then
saved
a
some of them.
real diarrhea 2 days after it's done.
You spit on your microphone,
Sorry.
and the spit was so big that you grabbed it with your fingers and lifted it off like you were lifting a napkin. That's how big the spit was. That's disgusting. man.
Sorry about that. I got excited.
Well, it is radio day.
All right, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time on Zoom with us right now. He's in his car.
Yeah.
He's traveling, maybe to another ABC location. I don't know.
We don't know. It's none of our business.
Chris Gwaltney's here from thehumidor.com. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great, man. But my schedule's kind of fluid, so it's like when I planned this thing several weeks ago, and then of course I get a call. I need you to. We got something going on down in Fort Lauderdale. Can you get down there Wednesday? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm pulled over on the side of the road, not on the interstate. I found a parking lot in West Palm Beach. So I'm about
we won't take up too much of your time.
Yeah, we'll just make this an abbreviated one.
You're in a Walmart parking lot.
This girl is so good. You hear, Sam? She used holy smokes during our cigar segment.
I'm bringing it back.
Chris, let's talk about.
If anybody wants to come see me, come to the ABC in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be there this afternoon.
All right. Yeah, just look for the friendly biker.
If one medium
friendly biker, right.
comes takes a selfie, I'll send you a free prize.
Oh yeah,
no, he's not going to be specific.
Yeah, I'm all in with that sort of stuff. Yeah, we'll send you a card, a
Chris,
letter.
Let's talk about your beard, because I have a theory that you get more respect in society when you look like Chris as opposed to me, where I look like, I'm 40 years old, but I still have like
old.
You look like
I have the what they call the Gruden.
I'm sorry.
What, you like to smoke? You like to smoke joints with teenage girls outside of an Applebee's? Who doesn't like to do that? It's society that made that weird. If I wanted to go outside, because medical marijuana in Florida, if I wanted to go outside and smoke a joint with an 18-year-old woman, I should be allowed to do that and not get frowned upon by society.
So, Chris, do you even notice that society treats you with more respect as you walk around and do business? And, I feel like people, when you're doing a transaction at a store.
He looks yoked today, too. Look at him. Wow, goddamn, you've been lifting weights, man? Jeez Louise.
No, man, I don't know about the respect factor. I do know that it makes it impossible to sneak up on anyone. You can't blend in with the crowd. It's like, if I'm going somewhere,
especially Joe Biden, he wants to sniff your beard.
We saw you pull in the parking lot. We saw you pull in the parking lot in your car. We saw the beard before we saw you. So it does make that part difficult.
It's kind of like me and my height. It's like no matter what my personality, what business I have,
they notice that first.
The client that we're meeting always looks at me and they're like, "Oh God, special needs." Always, they're always or handicapped. They look at me, they're like, "Oh, handicap, ew."
So Chris, I want to talk to you about pairing a cigar with a particular alcohol.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pairing a cigar with a pear.
And we may have talked about this before, but I know I sent you some emails about Scotch, and then it got me thinking.
You bothered him about your Grizz question?
Yeah.
You went to the source about getting Scotch for the Grizz?
He gave me some recommendations.
Yeah, but too expensive for you, right?
Well, I knew Chris was going to.
You were like,
he knew.
How about something that's closer to like $26?
And it got me thinking, like the stereotypical, you sit on one of those red leather bumpy chairs and you drink some sort of...
like an old money chair.
Yeah. And then you sip some sort of bourbon.
Yeah,
I'm thinking bourbon.
And then the snifter or whatever falls from your hand and you whisper rosebud into the air.
So... what is the best sipping liquor for a cigar, or at least the most popular?
Well, first of all, I got to respect the Citizen Kane reference.
Oh, thank you.
Respect that today.
Thank you.
Nice.
My wife's favorite movie.
My first of all, I've talked about this. We've done videos about it, and my first rule of pairing. And if anybody ever asks me what's the best pairing, the first rule of pairing is take your favorite cigar, your favorite spirit, try it, and if it works, that's it. I mean, you got to start with what you like. Don't force yourself to drink a spirit that you don't care about, or smoke a cigar that's either too strong for you or not in your wheelhouse just because someone else says it's a great pairing. If one or both of the objects are not something that you enjoy, then that's kind of stupid, right? So
I like that answer.
I would.
That is the non-pretentious.
People try and push their stuff on you all the time. I like that answer.
That is the non-pretentious, awesome, thehumidor.com answer is. And you guys have always kind of like cut out the stuffiness of like cigars and whiskey, even though Tom, try as he might to get you to be stuffy, you just can't, you can't do it. What you're searching for is so pretentious, Tom.
Well, I thought that there was a popular standard that everybody kind of adhered to.
Most of my buddies are Scotch and cigar.
Well, and my rule number 2 is you really can't mess it up, right? So cigars are very approachable with just about anything that you're going to pair it with. On the spirit side, but the most popular, the ones you hear the most about are on the port wine, because it's kind of an after dinner thing. Cognac has obviously been, and brandy, of two things that have always been very closely associated with cigars, and people, because they're kind of an after dinner thing, and it's kind of an after dinner drink. So that's how they kind of came paired together. Not necessarily just because they go so great together, because to me, my go-to is I love Scotch in cigars. Bourbon people will love bourbon in cigars, and they'll tell you that's the best pairing, and you don't know why it's the best pairing is because they love bourbon.
Right.
They're bourbon guys, so bourbon's going to be the best thing for them. Someone who prefers Scotch is going to say that Scotch is better for them. But I will say this, all of these spirits, all these brown spirits are going to go fine with a cigar. Where you have to be careful is if you're drinking something that has a really overpowering flavor profile, or smoking a cigar that has an overpowering profile, and you're drinking a lighter spirit, then you're going to have you could have some issues there. Some people like that; they like the contrast. Some people like to let the spirit kind of lead the way, so they'll smoke a milder cigar, or a milder flavored cigar, and then some folks go the other way, and then some folks like to compare things. My favorite go-to is a real peaty Scotch with a cigar, because I like smokiness. You're smoking a cigar, right? So I think the two go together. But if you don't like peaty Scotch, you don't like those Isla Super Peat Bombs that are real smoky, then I would tell you, even though it's my favorite, and I would encourage people to try it, if you don't like peaty Scotch, then don't even attempt it, because you're going to be severely disappointed, because you're not going to be able to enjoy it, because you hate the beverage.
Tom wrote down the name Petey Scott.
Petey Scott.
It is not a man. There's not Peter Scotch he goes by Petey Scott. It's what's funny is that I have seen, and Sam, you brought it up too, is like, how often do you find people that maybe are entering cigars, or maybe even entering spirits, where you find them doing the exact thing that you're kind of preaching against, which is they're trying the heaviest and most flavorful, robust cigar they can get their hands on, because they just think that that's what they're supposed to have, or they're trying that Scotch that has some sort of particular note to it that is just to the novice might be unpleasant. Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think what times, and this happens with highly rated cigars. Like a cigar will win Cigar of the Year, or it'll be a highly rated cigar, and there's a lot of buzz about it. And it happens to be a really full-bodied cigar, and a guy or gal who's been smoking hasn't been smoking cigars as long as their friends, say, "Oh, I want to smoke that cigar because it's got a high rating," and they don't enjoy it because they haven't got to the point to where they can smoke full, heavy-duty, full-bodied cigars and not get sick. Or they could be smoking for a long time. I say this all the time. There's people who smoke for 30 years and they still don't like super strong cigars, right? It's what you like and you enjoy. So if you're someone who doesn't like a full-bodied heavy cigar, I don't care if it got a 110 rating. It's not going to be a pleasant experience for you if that cigar is in that niche. So it's important that, you can take suggestions, especially when it comes to pairing. But the key is, it's got to be something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy the cigar by itself, or you don't enjoy this particular spirit, it's not something that you're going to go to, then having the two together, or having one that you like and one that you hate, the other one's not going to bring the other one into favorable form for you, right? So I think you have to make sure that it's something that you enjoy. I encourage people to experiment, to try new things. I mean, I can tell you right now, 25, 30 years ago, I wasn't a super peaty Scotch fan. When I drank Scotch, it was more blended Scotch. It was single malt Scotches. It was Highland Scotches, which aren't really peaty. It's like the Scotch that I suggested. One of the Scotch I suggested for you, Tom, the Balvenie 14-year Caribbean Oak Cask, is a Scotch that's not peaty. It's very approachable. It's a good Scotch for someone who's kind of getting into single malts. So, but your palate changes, right? So I mean, there's foods you ate as a kid that you hated, but now you love them. So things do change, and it's important that you try them, but don't force it. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't sit there and just grin and bear it and say, well, this has to be delicious because this guy said it's delicious.
Yeah, and it's true, because I've done that before, and normally when I was younger, where I would try something, and it was almost like I so wanted to like it because I knew that liking it would inject me into this club that I wanted to belong to.
You want to be a real man.
Yeah, and you're not. Thank you, Tom. And I'm not. I'm just not a real man. Handicap. Sam, you had cigar news. We were talking this morning. What was the story?
So there's this cigar company out of Pennsylvania. They've been in business for over 90 years in Pennsylvania. They're shutting down at the end of this month, and they're moving their entire production to the Dominican Republic, which I thought was insane. But they said, the past couple years with the pandemic, they just don't have skilled workers to work in their factory anymore. That's crazy, though. Almost 100 years, and they're moving the whole thing to the Dominican Republic.
Had you heard of that? What company? Does it say what company it is?
Yeah, it is. Let me find Avanti Cigar Company.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, there's very few. Avanti's kind of a boutique. It's a boutique company. Not a lot of production. There's really no one manufacturing premium cigars in the U.S. There's some boutique stuff. There's some large manufacturers that make small production runs. But if you're making cigars in any kind of any type of quantity and any kind of mass roll, you just can't do business in the U.S. I mean, everybody's in the DR. I mean, when Ybor City, when all the cigar factories went away, except for J.C. Newman, I mean, they're all in the DR, Honduras, Nicaragua. So most everybody is in those countries. It's just the labor cost here is too expensive. And then you look at the fact that you're so far away, too, from your materials. So, if you're in the DR, even though you're in the Dominican and you're using tobacco from all over the world, you're still using a lot of Dominican tobacco. If you're Nicaragua, obviously, most of the cigars made in Nicaragua have a good quantity of Nicaraguan tobacco in them. So most of those companies just make sense, right? You're near your product source. Most of your product is going into it, your raw materials. The cost of labor is much cheaper, just easier to operate. And it kind of blew me away. I had no idea that Avanti, until this article, that they were even doing production in Pennsylvania.
Well, you listen to this show, and you know that we are Orlando and maybe even North America's leader when it comes to cigar news. You hear it here first. There's a reason that the Humidor partners with Tom and Dan. We are the cigar leaders.
Yes, sir. Oh, hey, let me circle back. Avanti Cigars, it just clicked in my head. I was thinking about another cigar company, this boutique. Avanti Cigars is an international company, and I do buy cigars from them. I buy Toscano cigars, and they import Italian cigars.
Oh.
If you're familiar with, I think we did some videos on them in the past.
Do you know how you know if it's an Italian cigar?
Oh God!
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it.
Well, now I need to know.
They're gonna listen.
I'm not doing it.
All right.
It's an Italian cigar. You smoke the freaking thing.
Yeah.
Joey,
Chris.
Hey, you fold it over like a true pie, right?
Hey, Bugatti.
Hey, forget about it.
Hey, Bugatti.
So I amuse you with my Italian cigar.
Use guys.
So anyway,
Okay.
so Avanti it's like the parent company for primarily Italian cigars, and the Toscano Cigar Company is the ones that I sell, and it's not surprising. We could go off on a tangent talking about the Italian cigars, but one interesting note is like most of the tobacco in these Italian cigars, Tuscan cigars from Tuscany, Italy, where everybody knows about Tuscan wines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of that tobacco is Kentucky tobacco or Kentucky seeded tobacco, Kentucky fire cured tobacco they use.
And that's why they call these cigars Kentuscan.
Kentucky tobacco.
They call it Kentuscan tobacco.
Yeah, Kentuscan. That's right.
That's exactly what they call it. Only a guy that truly knows cigars like me would know the slang is Kentuscan.
You would think that they could grow tobacco somewhere in Italy more efficiently than shipping it from Kentucky.
No room, too many olives.
No, they still use Italian tobacco, but the leaf quality that you get in the Kentucky fire cured tobacco is just tremendous, and it's the flavor profile they're looking for, and so it works out for them. But I was unaware that they were doing any kind of production in Pennsylvania, and if they've been doing dealing with Italian cigars in Pennsylvania for 90 years. They're about 90 years too late moving. Like I said, most everybody's been down in the DR and definitely since the Cuban embargo, and he actually even before that, because you had the exodus of folks leaving in Cuba and taking their wares to other places. So it's interesting. So not so surprising. I'm more surprised that they were actually doing
They lasted this long,
Yeah. I know we've asked you, Chris, before, but the Cuban cigar, it seems like it's lost some luster to, or the fantasy or the branding of like having a Cuban cigar.
Somebody gives one to my dad. He runs to his bedroom, runs in and shuts the door. So no one can see. He thinks the cops are going to peek in the windows. My dad's like hiding a Cuban cigar. He's like, Dad Lee, don't tell anybody I got a Cuban cigar. Castro, get it.
So that's...
Yeah, I agree. I think so much about the Cuban cigar was it was forbidden fruit. You couldn't get it. Now, let me make this clear. I mean, there's some amazing Cuban cigars, right? And they kind of created the standard for which all other cigars are measured.
Sure.
But they don't have a monopoly on the great cigars. And I always look at it like this. It's kind of like, I remember, you live your whole life and somebody from the West Coast moves and talks about how great In-N-Out Burger is. In-N-Out Burger, In-N-Out Burger, In-N-Out Burger. And then finally you go out the West Coast.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm in Vegas. I'm going to go to In-N-Out Burger. And you're like, Five Guys is like 10 times better.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Whataburger than In-N-Out Burger.
That's
right?
why I get all of my cigars animal style.
Exactly.
Every single one.
Well,
so it's like you don't have it. So you get this whole buildup of how great it is, and when you have it, it's like, it's like going into a restaurant. Someone tells you how great it is, and you go there, and you're like, it's all right. Wasn't what you built it up to be. So sometimes there's more emotional attachment to something,
of course,
than probably it deserves on what it's going to deliver to you in the end.
Unless you're Tom, not really big on the emotional attachment, right? Like you would go in looking for the cigar that's going to give you X, a very logical choice.
Yeah, but then if someone, I am subject to the hype. Like if someone does hype up a Cuban cigar, I'm going to expect it to be 10 times better than
but
Dominican.
You're going to be disappointed.
It's the same thing. Yeah,
You're just logical enough to always be disappointed. I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Chris, anything else you want to promote? I want to tell everybody, use promo code Tom and Dan when you check out at thehumidor.com. You get 20% off your order. Plus, it lets them know that you're coming from us.
And they deliver.
Yep.
Yes, they do. Tom found that out and didn't use it.
Anything else we want to talk about today, Chris?
No, man, just go over to thehumidor.com. We got some new stuff coming in. With the trade show not too long ago. So a lot of those new items will start coming in into summer, early September. And, Christmas is right around the corner, guys. Starting that clock down.
Yeah.
That countdown clock already.
He's not lying. Now would be the time if you want to get it done and not freak out when everybody's like, supply chains, all the boats are stuck. Because that's what's going to happen, right? We're going to have the same thing. You got to get on it now.
And, the best part of our business is, you buy it now and you maybe you consume it. Then you got to come buy it again. So we encourage everybody to shop early, right?
That's true. Try it before you buy it for a friend.
Try it before you buy it. That's right.
Chris, how excited you are that football's back?
He's got an NFL
games.
hat on.
I'm totally excited. Totally excited. We got our first home preseason game this Friday down at the bank. So
you got that Jacksonville Jaguars Wounded Warrior Project version or something? That's cool. Yeah, I love that.
We are definitely wounded. That is for sure.
That is a dope hat, though. I love that.
It is very, 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 very painful to be a Jaguars fan, but there's always hope. And this is the best time of the year, right? No matter how crappy your team is, everybody looks great in shorts and shoulder pads, and shells in practice, running routes. So. And then even when your team sucks in the preseason, you're like, well, those games don't count. When the season starts, we're going to flip the switch and we're going to be a Super Bowl contender. So there's always that hope, right?
My team is garbage, but you know what? Atlanta did something that was really creative this year because it gives me something to look forward to. And I just found this out yesterday. We're bringing the red.
They didn't sign Deshaun Watson.
Well,
their greatest achievement.
That's great, but no, we're bringing the red helmet back. From the 90s.
Oh, nice.
We're bringing back the red with the black falcon on the side, and it looks awesome. So I'll look forward to that. We'll play that game. We'll lose everything, but hey, we'll look good. Just like you said, we'll look good.
All right, listen. Chris,
you'll be rocking the Steve Barkowski to Billy White Shoes Johnson helmet.
Yes, exactly,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I've heard a lot of good things about the Jags. Now that you got old Urban Meyer out of there.
But I miss that. Man, that was my favorite.
It was a good
I know
time.
you completely disagree and you would beat me up, but man, he was so crazy. What a crazy person.
I've never seen that bad of a crash and burn in
bad.
NFL head coaching before. That was. I know we talked about it. It was so ridiculous.
Epic level of funny. But hey, man, stay safe out there. It's always good seeing you and talking to you, and we'll see you in a bit.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
See you, Chris.
Oh, there I go. Okay. Oh, God.
Like
Technology.
Yeah, my God, I did it.
speaking of, I always wanted to be the guy that did cool things naturally. Smoking.
You do cool things.
No.
You're too hard on yourself,
Everything
man.
I do is awkward.
No,
There's nothing.
because
don't lie to him, Dan.
Samantha. Okay.
Don't lie to him.
Oh,
If he did-
yeah, but
I'm
I'll
not-
ask him. Samantha will tell the truth.
No,
Daniel's lying
He's
to
lying
me.
to
I'm
you.
not lying to him. If
Yeah.
he didn't overthink things, there are
lying.
times when he does things that are really cool. But,
Like?
when he
Oh, okay,
overthinks,
Sam.
all of the stunt things that he does, the fact that he's virtually fearless when it comes to anything, I mean, that is something to be. He's generous. These are all
That's not
admiring.
cool, though.
Sam,
Generosity is not here. Okay. You know what? I'll go home.
I-
I'm leaving.
I will buy you anything you
Whoa!
want for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
Accidental dickhead.
Don't yell boom shakalaka. Why are we in the 90s today?
He said boom shakalompa.
I forgot you're not going to be here tomorrow. And what I was going to say is if you could name anything.
No, you didn't. Don't let him lie to you.
I know.
Now he's lying.
Yeah, everybody's lying today.
I'll buy your lunch Friday.
Okay.
If right now you could name one cool thing I've ever done that you yourself was like, that's cool.
You don't wear Hey Dudes.
No.
You
not,
don't wear Hey Dudes.
No,
it
not-
can't be something he doesn't do.
Yeah,
It has to be
one
something
good-
he's done.
Yeah, where you looked at me and you're like, that was cool. Cool move, Tom Van.
Oh, I've never said that in
But
my
you
life.
said it like smooth move, D-head. Like you said it like
Cool
it's a-
move, Tom Van.
No, I'm saying where you looked at me and you're like, that is cool that he did this.
What's the time?
I'll think. Can I think on it?
I
Is
should
it-
have offered more money.
Is it-
The answer is nothing.
No.
Is it your
I know.
entire life? Because you've done cool stuff.
No, it has to be currently.
It has to be something that Sam saw in person.
Okay. Oh, then yeah, no.
It can't be something that I have done because the video
Well, I've seen you do a
doesn't
lot.
tell the whole
I mean,
story.
I've seen you do a lot.
Because like a 5-second clip of
You
me.
cut out the uncool
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah.
sound like any police officer that's up on charges. Right? You need to watch the whole video and see how mad he made me.
Yeah, you gotta see it before.
Then I stomped him flat. But before that,
Yeah. You just saw the stomping.
yeah, you just hold it. You didn't see this with. You need to see this in context.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time. Let's do some emails.
All right, Drunky Doc. Hey, show. I would 100% watch a Drunky the Bear documentary. That was some of Tom's finest work. I assume it would be more more geared to the stuntman aspect.
I mean, your art
That was
is
when you were
your
cool,
body
man.
of work, right?
That's when you were
Like
cool.
me too. Like all the buddy calls and the CD, all that garbage, all that dumb crap. Like
Your
that
glory
is,
days,
you
yeah.
can't run from that. You
But
can't run from it.
it
But
would
I'm
be-
gonna run from it just like J.J. Walker ran from his
Dynamite.
catchphrase "dynamite." When I met him, he was like, "I refuse to say that," and that's how I'm gonna be.
But this guy,
Dig my heels in.
he's looking at it wrong. I don't want him to do it about how cool the stunts weren't cool or impressive. You they weren't impressive at all. No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were. No, they were.
They weren't. They now.
You wouldn't have continued doing them, nor would people have shown up and cheered if they weren't impressive to see a normal guy do things that are, even if it's just slightly out of the ordinary, it was cool. Not going to let you do that.
What I'm saying is not impressive in the terms of there's 10,000 people on the internet that can do way cooler things and
Well,
more impressive thing. Even back then, I mean, like the distance I was jumping over stuff was
It didn't
nothing.
matter. It was just a normal guy doing it is what made it cool.
Yeah, what
now you just run 15 miles an hour. People are impressed with
Yeah,
that.
they
So,
were.
you know,
They were.
it's a little downgraded of a stunt, but people were impressed.
I want to tell the story worry about how did all these billion-dollar companies let it happen. That's more of the
you
joke.
want the behind the scenes.
Well,
Okay.
just I wanted more of like, look how ridiculous. Like I'm dressed in a Bear in the
Almost
Big Blue
like
House.
the Class Action Park. Like, how did this
Yeah,
happen?
yeah. Whereas like I'm dressed in the Bear in the Big Blue House. I'm in Orlando, Bear in the Big Blue House suit.
On the radio.
Named Drunky the Bear,
Yeah.
doing dangerous stuff where I'm employed by a billion-dollar company, and what it was, Live Nation is a billion-dollar company, and they would be worried about getting sued, but they just let me do ridiculously dangerous things, and no one even cared. No one even said like, "Hey, you can."
I don't think they knew. I don't
Well,
think
they were
you know.
watching it.
Well,
Anyway.
but I mean, like, were they? I mean, like, they,
I mean, someone had to sign off on it. Like, hey, we're stopping the. I mean, there's 70,000 people, and most of them are in the bathroom or at lunch,
No, they were
getting
watching
burnt.
it.
But I was saying, they had to write it into the script of the night of the Monster Truck show. Like, here, Drunky the Bear from Real Radio is doing a stunt, and no one said like, well, does he know how to do it? Like, he's jumping over 2 monster trucks. What if he
There's no waivers to sign?
paralyzes
yeah, but
himself?
It's
Does
just
he know?
assumptions.
I know.
And I'm afraid that what I'm afraid of is that yes, is it a good question? Yes.
A stage almost got caught on fire the last time I went to the Predators game, like a month ago.
But the answer.
So it's still
the
a mess.
answer is you're gonna hate because it's not gonna give you enough meat for your documentary.
No, there's no answer, and that's
Well,
kind of
the
joke
answer
there.
will be if you really dug into it. It would. I think your answer would definitively be because no one cared about their jobs. Like no one. It was all run by assumptions. All by
The
assumptions.
answer is ridiculous, but the entertainment to me is just showing all the ridiculous stuff and how little I knew what I was doing or trained for it or planned for it or, I mean,
It's pretty awesome.
just no one asked me, like, can you even do this? No one asked me, like, do you have experience of any of this? Like, I borrowed some dirt bike the day of the event and rode it for the first time,
Great.
But it's like,
I love it.
No one said, even when I was practicing riding around, no one's like, is this the first time you've ridden a 4-stroke dirt bike? You're going to jump 2 monster trucks in the minute, there's.
See, that's cool. That's out of the ordinary.
It is, but it's like, how did it happen? Why did anybody come in and tell, like, you can't do this? Like, you're gonna kill yourself and your family's gonna sue us? Like,
I may have said that.
Different time.
I may have said that at least
2010.
Anyway, does he continue?
It would be amazing if you could do a compilation of all of the 1 minute of comedy bits,
Oh, God.
like everyone in order. I would
Oh
pay
my
good
God!
money for that.
Everyone in order. That would be like I'd be like a from here to the sun.
Yeah, I did it every day for 5 years. Then I was doing 2 a day.
Yeah.
For like
The
3
old
years.
2-a-days.
Yeah,
3
2 a
years.
days. Big fat football practices.
I
2 a
realize
days.
the Quarry probably has the right to most of that, but it was so
Nah, nah.
good.
No, but that's the thing.
I'll
But-
use it. I'll sell it. I'll make
Yeah.
money and then tell.
I mean,
then why aren't you
they're
doing it?
selling it right now. They're selling old shows right now. They're selling
Yeah,
them.
but I'll steal the 1 minute of comedy off of YouTube and I'll sell them for my own profit.
Yeah.
And they're
And
not
no
gonna,
one will
and
do anything.
They're not gonna do it. I know them.
Yeah, that's
the
fact.
one thing I do know is everybody there. No one cares. No one's paying attention.
Why? Because it's all run by assumptions.
Well, you got at least one BDM that'll pay for it. You can
Well, how much
you
do we
can
pay?
sign up for my Patreon because he did do a 1 minute comedy on my
true.
Semantics after party.
That's true.
Nah, I forgot to
That'll
do
get
that.
you one. If you can get one, you can get 2.
All right, let's see. How well could you host a spontaneous after party at your home? Is it just better to have the after party at the local town bar? Ever stay at a bar past closing time where it becomes a spontaneous private party?
Oh, I like
Thanks for
those.
hanging out in DeLand. So they were out at the Little Stranger show at
That was
Cafe
fun.
Da Vinci.
That was a lot of fun.
And they're trying to figure out what's the protocol for an after party.
I believe after parties for me, I wouldn't have done one in DeLand because I had to get home to my family.
Yeah.
But if I were staying the night, I like them when they lock the doors to the bar. And
Yeah, that's always cool.
Those
If you
are
know
cool.
the owner or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those where they're like, hey, we got to turn the lights off in case the cops drive by. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
can go
I've-
ahead and drink.
Plenty
Nobody's
of
drinking and driving. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we can't sell you just, with cash or whatever it is. There used to be a place in Orlando that
Cyber Zone,
where
the bottle club.
Yes,
Yeah.
where you.
There are multiple bottle clubs here in town.
Yeah, so after
Well, let's start a bottle club. Tom and Dan's Bottle Club.
it's it's funny that you needed a place to go after 2 a.m.
So
Because
you
then-
bring your booze.
because now I can't even imagine wanting to go to some place after 2 to keep drinking. Like, if it's too much.
At 2. I'll be up in 2 hours. But like Cyber Zone, you would bring your bottle or you would buy a bottle there, and then they would keep it under lock and key. And if you ordered drinks, they would make you drinks with the bottle you had.
And that would get or that's the loophole with them selling
like that.
alcohol after too,
Yeah.
because technically they already sold it to you. It's your own alcohol. They just serve it to you, which is not illegal, I guess. And that's although.
What a great name for a bar too, Cyber Zone. God, that's good.
Get in the zone, cyber zone.
Does anybody still go to hookah lounges?
Oh yeah,
Is that
I'm a
still
regular.
Good
Me and Maisie
question.
are a regular down in Little Vietnam. We're always at the hookah lounges.
I went to a hookah lounge.
Never been to one. My neighbor.
I bet
though.
COVID shut that down, right?
yeah. Well, it's back. No one cares now, so maybe they're back. But
I think that's once it's down, it's
Yeah,
done.
you're right.
You know.
Well, I went to a hookah bar with Matt, Cabin Boy Matt.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
You
Back, 10 years ago when he was.
back when you were cool.
Are you talking about Matt from G-Toberfest?
yeah.
Can I say G-Tober?
Yeah.
From G-Toberfest?
And then I remember he's like, "Oh yeah, there's this new hookah lounge. It's
We
the
gotta go
coolest
down there.
Spot.
All the hot babes in there.
And then I went to it with him.
I'm Cabin Boy from SBK Live, and I love the babes.
And then I remember looking around and being like, "This is gross. Like, what is that? Like, I don't even want to smoke out of that GD octopus.
Why?
It's weird.
Spoken like a true redneck.
I don't even want to smoke out of that goddamn. What is that? Some sort of smoking octopus? I ain't smoking out of no squid. You ain't getting me, Ursula.
Because they're like, what?
I'm out of here.
There's no weed. Like,
my
it doesn't do
God.
anything. It's like, no, you just get the flavor of cinnamon. Like that. And then I'm
Cinnamon octopus.
sitting on the
The
floor.
old son of an octopus.
And there's a big, it's like, this is disgusting. I don't even,
Well, when they load it, they put a half a pound of something in there. They're like stuffing it full, and then they light it.
But
Like
it's
they're
like-
lighting a poof of peat moss or something.
Well, I mean, what enjoyment is anybody getting out of this? There's like poofing.
I like to
some
blow
cinnamon.
back into it. I blow back into it. I'm like, then everybody's sucking on. I'm like, you're sucking my breath. You're sucking
Ugh.
my stinky teeth breath.
It's just like, where is anybody enjoy? Like, where's the enjoyment out of this?
Where's the
thing?
beef?
I understand, like, you smoke weed, you get high, and then you're like, I'm high. The guy,
Yeah,
that's,
but this you're like, hey, let's all smoke cigarettes out of this octopus.
yeah, but it's not
But
even.
it's like cigars, right? It's for the flavor.
Yeah. But
We're not flavor. Me and Tom are not. We're not flavor people.
You're like, the flavor.
Go
of
to
cinnamon.
Flavor Town.
Like cherry, black cherry. Oh,
Wow, this
what is that?
black cherry octopus is delicious.
What, a baby? Oh, like, I want alcohol. I want something that gets me
Yeah, that's why.
Mess
out
up.
of reality.
That's
yeah.
why I hate my wife. She buys the fizzy waters, and she's like, "What fizzy water do you want?" I go, "Plain." She goes, "No. What flavored fizzy water do you
Sometimes
want?"
I
And
like
I
a
go,
plain.
"I want
No.
bubble flavor. I want it to just taste like water." And then what did she buy last night? Trader Joe's blueberry lemonade. I'm like, blueberry lemonade. That's
Ew.
not even a real lemonade flavor.
Well, hold on. I agree with your wife. You gotta put some flavoring in there. If you get zero, like you guys are drinking.
I
That,
drink Liquid Death, regular
I know. Yeah.
fizzy water, no flavor.
Yeah.
I don't need the flavor. I need the hydration and the bubbles. The bubbles just calm my stomach a little bit because I have IBS.
For some reason, it's different with Liquid Death than it is a non-flavored LaCroix. In whatever reason,
I literally just bought a pack of non-flavored LaCroix.
I know you love them, and I was
I
like,
don't like
buy
their
the flavor. It's
branding.
the same.
Let's
cost.
talk about
Get
LaCroix.
orange. You don't like orange?
No, I don't.
Do you think
actually.
LaCroix
Orange?
is listening? I like the orange LaCroix. Do you think LaCroix is listening? Because
No.
they need to change. Their branding is so
I agree.
busted. Like
Yeah.
LaCroix, it's like pastel. It looks like an old Mima sectional couch.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's 90. It reminds me of that. You know that wave of
Yeah,
like,
the Dixie cup.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Dixie
the
cup.
Dixie
yeah.
cup
The
wave,
purple
yeah.
and teal with the
Yeah.
purple swipe. Yeah.
That's probably where they're going off of. But
Yeah,
you're
I've
right.
seen enough dudes at water parks wearing those shorts because they think they're cool. That's so
Back,
played.
baby.
That's so played. You're so played.
Also, I think you gotta put like Bubbly puts a little sodium in theirs,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that just
Liquid Death puts a
Gotta
little
get
bit
that
of
sodium.
They
Yeah,
put
yeah.
a little bit of agave nectar. They also do something that I didn't think I would like, but they write a 1 to 2 word phrase on the pull tab that says like "hiya" or "hey there," and I'm like, God damn it, you got me, Bubbly. Hi there. I say hi right back to it. I open it up, I'm happy as can be. I'm like, hi, hey there, what's up, boss?
the best excuse for drinking Bubbly or LaCroix or the seltzer waters or whatever. Well, my buddy Andres, he told me, he's like, drink like a can of Bubbly or LaCroix or whatever. He's like, it makes you feel like you're drinking alcohol. and therefore it gives you just a tiny endorphin.
It's a faux buzz.
Yeah. Where it's just like it makes you feel like you're drinking, and for whatever reason it does. Like I don't know. It's because I've drinking
It's
so
like
much
when I'm
hard
sleeping
seltzer.
with men and I close my eyes. And I'm like,
It's
yeah,
all
it's
the
not
same.
that bad.
But I pour it on ice.
Because you're used to White Claw.
Yeah.
It's got the same feeling in your mouth.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, at the beginning it tricks me.
You
got to
get the skinny LaCroix then. Then it
Yeah,
really tricks your brain.
But then after, it only tricks me for a couple, and then I'm like, I'm
not drunk yet.
I need the alcohol. Anyway, sorry.
Next email.
I am listening to a Friday Free show, and I just felt that I should throw this idea out there of my therapist zooming in on the show for a Weird Job Wednesday. And also, it could be a free therapy session for Tom.
I love this idea. Who is this?
This is
a
our buddy Sean.
This is a great idea.
Seeing how I didn't tag him in the email, it could maybe be a surprise session. Oops. This guy is great, and he has helped me out a lot. He does cool motorcycle guys only retreats. Cool motorcycle guys only retreats.
I don't think there's any such thing, right? His name's Dr. Wildhog.
Let me know, and I'll link you guys up. And then he gave me his website.
Hey, look, everybody. It's not. Hey, what's going on?
Tom hates all guy retreats.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Especially-
Dr. Live to Ride.
Cool old guy motorcycle retreats.
Hey, guys. Everybody ready? We got to start leaving if we want to make it up to the dragon.
What do I have to pay you, Tom, to go on an old biker
Well,
retreat?
he'll get there. Eventually, he'll get there. It'll be me and him, and we'll be out there. We're like, we're going up to North Dakota to take on the Triple Scorpion. So nerdy, you nerds and your maps. You got all your maps. Oh,
Should
what
I
are they
save
doing?
that?
Oh, they're doing the devil's. They're doing the devil's twisty.
Should I save that and have you talk to a therapist on air, or do you want your session to be off air?
I would like to talk to a therapist for a weird job because that is a weird job.
Especially if
Also
they're my
hard, man.
therapist.
You got to listen to some of the worst stuff, dude.
It's hard only if you're the type
I
of
didn't
person
pay my therapist enough.
that doesn't like. But I think I could do it.
Yeah, you'd be a good therapist.
No way.
Yeah, he'd be great.
Because
No.
most of the
He's
time,
logical. He just sits there.
No, he would talk everybody out of their feelings.
No, not in these scenarios. Because he'd be uncomfortable. You'd
Well,
be uncomfortable therapist.
But I also understand what my whole job is because I figured out therapy and now
I figured it out. Never been.
and
He's
then
been. Oh, he's been.
it seems like 90% of it is just being a good listener and just
I also
being
think
attentive.
you might have not had a great therapist if that's all they did.
Well, the thing is, whatever they told me, I was like, you don't know. I know
okay,
better.
there
You know,
it is.
I'm a therapist.
whatever advice they
I
gave
know
me,
better than you.
it didn't make sense to me. I was like, I already know how to fix this. And that, but then I was like, I understood the enjoyment about just talking to someone who's willing to listen. I think, honestly, I use the show for my therapy needs. I just tell everybody what's happening, how I'm feeling.
There's truth to that. Yeah.
And so then, but that's, I think, a lot of it for a lot of people because really, for the most part, there isn't a finite answer to your problems, right?
Right.
Like I used to think that somehow the therapist, back in the day when Crystal convinced me to go one time because she thought I was like, she's like, oh, this is a problem. We could, someone needs to fix it.
Butt stuff.
And then you know what? And now she's realizing that because of Tommy, that I was born this way. Like this
Lady
wasn't
Gaga,
some
yeah.
sort of thing I can
So
work
you got
out.
out of therapy because of that, huh?
Yeah, because I
But
point
wait
to
a minute,
Tommy.
what if the both of you need therapy?
Right.
No, he was born like this is who we are as a person.
He
This
saw
is
you doing it.
Yeah,
and
you
he's like,
projected that onto that little boy.
Yeah,
No.
you're like, I want to be like him.
Like-
That's my dad.
like if you're born with no legs, there's no amount
Oh
of
my God.
therapy that make you
You
grow
can
your
go to
legs
physical
back.
therapy though.
You
Where
can-
they put the
you
fake
get
legs
robot
on you.
legs.
You
You
can
can
get robot legs.
Yeah, you can learn how to walk, but it's never going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like
Teach a man to walk.
Wow.
Teach a man to walk, and he walks one time. But teach a man to fish, and he can eat. He can't eat your own legs. That's what they say.
Anyway, so I realized the therapist is not necessarily there to solve the problems, but to help you work through your own problems. And a lot of it is just you talking it out with someone willing to listen to your BS. Because most of the time you don't have anybody to listen to your BS.
My therapist, my new one, I've been 5 times.
Right.
She has yet to say one word.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
I talk a lot though.
Wait,
I'm a heavy talker.
They just let you talk through it, you
yeah.
know? And most of the time you'll talk through
At the
to the
end,
answer.
at the end of it, I get up, I turn around, and I address myself, and I'm like, "Well, good session. I'll see you next week." And I'm like, "Okay, see you next week."
Bye.
I remember talking through, going like 3 or 4 sessions, and I talked so much, I figured it out, and then I was like, there's no help. Like,
You know what? I figured it out. There's no help.
there's no.
You're wasting your time. I'm a lost cause.
There's no fixing this, and then it's just like I gotta deal with it and manage it.
You know that's also what they help you do.
What, fix it?
Deal with it and manage it.
Yeah. But I knew that part. I thought they were gonna I was gonna come out.
Oh no, deal with it and manage it. Right?
I got it.
Yeah, because it all goes back to
10-4.
hard work. Working on. Putting work into it. I didn't want to do that. I wanted the pill that you take.
Oh, I want a pill
that you
so
lose
bad.
weight. Adderall. And then I found it. And then I stopped going to therapy. I just need I take a pill, and then it makes me not.
I need a therapy pill.
Mentally disabled anymore, like I am. Anyway, what the?
What is it? Wait, what does this signal mean again?
Rodeo. We're going to the rodeo.
The tornado's coming.
All right, bye.